Morning, morning, morning. Morning, everyone. All right, we've got 8 minutes here, so let's get through it. High time frame analysis, daily chart, NQ. Very simple, opening at all-time highs. We have room yet again, as we keep talking about, as the upper Bollinger Band continues to trade higher with the 5 days supporting it. We have room to continue to do these kind of moves, but you have to be cautious when we're opening at all-time highs. Please remember, this week we are in rollover week. We have an FOMC announcement on Wednesday, expected to price in a quarter-based cut. We have more news on Thursday, a triple witching on Thursday. So expect liquidity to start to come into the market on Wednesday and start to exchange on contracts this week as well. All right, so daily chart definitely still in an upward cycle. We move down to an hourly chart. You can see the key areas of the hourly. All right, right here, old high, failed underneath, reclaimed, pushed up overnight. Here is your key level. Very, very simple. This is your key level, 800. All right, all the time we're holding 800 on the Qs. Very possible for continuation. We start to let go of that, we can trade back down inside of range for a choppy week. Okay, super simple. Same here on the lower time frame 5-minute chart. All right, we had Friday's close. Where was Friday's close? Around, in and around the 800 mark. Surprise, surprise. All right, traded off after Friday a little bit before opening Sunday. Sideways action until London came in the building and we attacked all-time highs, which I think we've just swept. Yeah, we have swept it. All right, so London with a big pump. So a return back into range for this move would be a snap of London and a return into London Asia low. So be very, very aware of that. You do not want to get caught buying high today. Right, don't get caught buying high today. We look to trade off good areas. The best area right now is in and around 800 if the market offers that opportunity. Otherwise, we'd be looking for a breakout, a pullback, and a continuation trade higher, or a failed breakout and a trade back inside of the range. Key here is definitely going to be the VIX and the ES. ES, we have big divergence on. Right, ES not gapping up to all-time highs. It is still getting stuck at that same level of supply. It's making lower lows and lower highs on multiple time frames, higher time frames I'm talking about. It is possible that ES will do an H1 breakout. All right, so we really need to see it get going through 90s really for that squeeze up into 6,100s. And if we get through that, 6,111 will be the all-time high. So we need to see ES join in for some rotation into some other sectors. We cannot rely on the Qs to do all the work. One thing I have noted is the VIX is gapping up this morning. All right, so we closed on Friday at 1377, gapped up all the way up into the 14. So we're holding 1440. A break of 1440 can trigger a potential squeeze up on the VIX. You'd be looking for 1460 breakout and then really into the 15s. If we do that, the ES is likely to roll over. Multiple times in the past, when we've started to get frothy at the top of the range of the market, there has started to become a divergence between the NQ and ES. So lots of traders will be looking at that. I'm not looking to pick tops. I'm certainly not looking to buy all-time highs, right? Not when we are not having sector rotation. Looking across into the other markets, we've got like 3 minutes left. Apple actually going to open down on the day. Microsoft probably going to do the same at this rate, giving everything back. Amazon with a big push up, holding its gains, holding mid pre-market for now. That's gapping up. Google also gapping up, looking very strong. Meta gapping up, but starting to trade back inside. Nvidia still in its sideways channel, same area from Friday session. 135 will be a breakout on Nvidia, and Tesla all-time highs. All right, gapping up again, starting to drive. We are in a monster squeeze on Tesla. So 442 break or 442.50 break for more upside continuation, possibly on Tesla, unless we're going to be in a pump and dump type scenario. I'm going to be risk off at the open. I'm not looking to trade this open when we're gapping up like this. The other thing to note is we have some news at 9:45 and 10 o'clock. So very aware of this news coming. What I don't want to do is get trapped, right? So you can see right here for now, left to flat top. I'd be very aware about this kind of move and a trade back down into Friday's key level. Looks like we're already starting to roll over a little bit here. on the lower time frame. Big sell candle coming in there. So some of the positions starting to be dumped. So I want to be very, very cautious of this. Lots of stops up here for sure. But yeah, just going to take it very easy. Remember, it's Monday morning. We don't have any range for the week. The higher time frame is bullish. We have no supply structure overhead other than internal that we've just created in the pre-market. And we will go from there, team. So hopefully you're all prepared. I'm bullish versus 800. If we hold 800 with a bullish pattern, all right, if we start to fail, then I'll be looking for rotations back inside the range. ES and VIX, again, will be absolutely key for me today. So going back through chat, see how you're all doing here. Morning, and I've got to get right back to the beginning. Morning, Max, Ryan, Exister, Marek, Asa, Chris, Thumper, Miguel, Cat, South Cacdad, Jeff, The Redline, Noah, Coop, Mindful Matters, and Glenn. Good morning, everyone. You're all doing well. So 50-50 in the chat, it seems, for the poll. 50-50 pretty much for the dump or the pump. Says a lot about the market right now. All right, if you guys are not sure, there'll be a lot of people feeling the same. I'm definitely not going to be risk on at the open. Give this a moment to shake out. Like we said, we have news, we have divergence across the board. If we start getting a rotation into ES, if we start to look strong into the ES and the SPY, if the VIX starts to do a gap fill back down to the mid-13s, then I'll think about getting long. But with the VIX gapping up and the market gapping up, a little bit cautious. Have a quick look at the treasuries here. Yeah, they look pretty strong unless we get failed follow through. All looking very similar. Pretty good on an hourly chart on the treasuries if they hold sort of 4.2%, and they can drive up to this pivot high at 4.4 again. I all had a fantastic weekend. Mine was very, very relaxing. Morning, Rob Drag. Morning, Tomek. Morning, everyone. Make sure you hit that like button nice and early in the chat. Means I don't have to keep talking about it. Here we go for the open then. Morning drive. Let's see what we get. Right, ES looking pretty strong for this move. Mag 7, most of them opening green. Nvidia the only one red. Can they get a continuation of a push up, or do we push for a pump and dump type scenario on a Monday? No idea right now. I have no edge in this market. But we are bullish high time frame. All right, so no picking tops. That's the one rule today. We don't go picking tops. Nice opening drive here. So remember, close of this candle will give you an opening range breakout trade for a 1 minute candle. And you can think about your 5 minute opening range and your 15 minute. So new all-time highs on the NQ, ES rejecting supply yet again. All right, same area. Getting absolutely slammed in supply yet again on the ES. So this is where you need to be careful for divergence in the market. If they start to sell and rotate, NQ is going to struggle to move higher. If ES can hold its pivot highs up here, it has a chance to keep retesting supply. The more times it does that, the more chance it is of breaking through. Morning, John. QQQ looking very strong. So here goes ES, new attempt at trying to break out of this pivot back in its supply zone for now. We really need SPY to take out last week's 607.20 on the SPY. That would give it a run up to 609 basically. Very, very cautious of a failed breakout here on the market. All right, that's what I talked about. I don't want to get caught buying high, especially early in the session. Plenty of time left in this day. Don't be forcing anything right now. So far, we've swept previous all-time highs, trading back inside. Okay, swept previous day highs, coming back inside. ES getting stuck in its supply zone of 76. That supply zone runs from 6,076 up to 6,085. Takes out 85. We have possible pivot, breakout, pullback, and continuation trade. But ES looking a little bit weaker here on a 5-minute bar. Looking at Mag 7, Tesla up almost 1%, Nvidia down 1%, Meta up 1.5%, Google up 2.7%, Amazon up 1.8%, Microsoft hovering around its open price, and Apple up 0.5%. All right, that 250 level on Apple is going to be key. I have not rolled, but many people have already rolled. Yeah, I won't be rolling over. I'll wait until I absolutely have to, until all the volume's moved. Yeah, it's annoying, Coop. You will need to change the contract on TradingView. So if you've got it, mine is currently on NQ1 and it looks okay, but you might need to put in the actual date. So if you haven't rolled over, just put in the December contract still on TradingView and it should match. But yeah, this week always gets tricky. Like I said in Discord, I do not enjoy trading rollovers. Liquidity starts to get a little bit finicky and a little bit funny and weird. There's a seller on the book up at 950, not much else other than that. The book's looking kind of thin, if I'm honest. VIX holding its gains up at 1422, but no breakout of 1440 yet. Nothing really to do here. You know, a minute or so left for a new 5-minute bar. ES clearly rejecting supply so far, but not making a lower low on a 5-minute yet. Like I said, Monday morning, not in a rush to do anything. Haven't taken a trade yet. Just watching this market. So far, holding previous day high. That red line is previous day high. So if we're going to have continuation, it's going to need to hold this like it currently is. But I have got one eye on ES right now. Yeah, exactly. News coming 9:45 and 10 o'clock news after that. Much more clear for the day. I'm definitely not in a rush on a new week where we have rollover, where we have FOMC coming on Wednesday, where we have data coming on Thursday, where we have triple witching, and probably most people will start getting out of positions for next year. Morning, Kevin. Kevin from Nairobi. Good morning, my friend. So just waiting here to see. ES looks very, very weak in comparison to the Qs right now. 10 minutes left till news. Gapping up across the markets. Can they hold their gains? Biggest buyer on the book right now down at 862. Biggest seller on the book is at 950 and above that in towards the 22,000 level. So retesting previous day high, yeah, again, no trade for me yet. I'm going to let this shake out. Not interested right now. 40-point opening range in that first 5 minutes. Waiting for something clear and obvious. If it doesn't come today, then it doesn't come. Possible that we have chop for a few days here, possible sideways action. But so far we are in breakout territory. We are above Friday's close. We're above the weekly close and Friday's high. If it can hold gains up here, it has potential to squeeze higher to go for that top Bollinger Band. Back to previous day high again. Watching the ES here. Watching the VIX. Nvidia now 2% down on the session. Everything else green. Bonds about 0.5% down on the session. Bitcoin holding its gains. Nice pump over the weekend of Bitcoin. So holding around that 105K mark. Gold pretty much flat on the session as well. All right, so far, nothing I'm loving here that I'm seeing. ES wants to trade down, lower right now. Low on New York session. It's looking to test and extend the range potentially. Maybe back down towards its 8:30 levels or 8 a.m. levels. NQ still holding gains. So big divergence on the market, like we've seen the last few weeks. That sounds amazing, Kevin. Never been to Kenya, would love to go. So some fails here on the broader market, but tech still holding up. But you're seeing Microsoft start to go green to red very, very early on the session to cool that, but you can see it starting to happen. Do they soak the bid here and carry up? Remember, my level that I'd be more interested in buying in is around this 800 mark. Definite selling up here, but is it just creating liquidity for later? Remember, we have news in about 7 minutes, 6 minutes even. Super, super patient this morning. I know it doesn't make for a fun stream because I'm not clicking buttons, but this is what we're looking for. We're just going to wait and see. Either we get a breakout continuation type trade or we get that pullback inside. But again, divergence in the market. ES very clearly cannot get through supply. $7 fail now off that push on supply. Does it trade further back inside? We're coming into key areas on the SPY. If it starts failing further, it's going to come back down into that area that we sort of closed and balanced around on Friday. So that area on the SPY would be down at 604.60. That area on the QQQ would basically be down into 530.90s. If it's going to trade downside to see if there are any bids down there. Morning, Minix. Morning, Mary. So far, holding the structure then. We are still multi-time frame bullish. If this is going to trigger a squeeze, so be it. It's going to keep going upside. Didn't come deep enough for me to want to get in, but maybe that's it. So 950 on the book, magnets 940, 950, and 990. ES can get going and break out of its hourly downtrend, all right, its hourly flag that it's been making on the ES, then the market has a much better chance of trading upside to that higher Bollinger Band that we talked about. So new highs on the Qs then. ES still trading inside its New York range. Not even at supply yet, starting to attack supply now. So 950 looks like that magnet is going to get filled. And then you're looking new seller up at 960, small size, and then 990. So its flow zone still holding then, every single dip pattern holding here, quasi hold. I didn't take anything here, I'm still waiting. Do not like what I'm seeing in the broader market right now. So I'm very, very cautious, maybe overly cautious. If this was happening when ES was doing something similar, it's a whole different ball game. Yeah, I'm using Bookmap, Hot Snap Trader. So clear out of the liquidity above, trading back inside. You've got 3 minutes till news. It will start to thin out. And there's not a huge amount of volume on the tape this morning either. Giving back that last squeeze up. This is why you see I don't like buying highs when ES can keep failing, right? ES failed at supply yet again. So 1, 2, 3 taps in this morning since 9 o'clock, and it's failed every single tap in there on the ES. Now we've got news coming, and you might have buyers trapped at those highs now. So back down to previous day high. The question is, does it sell off here? The hard thing will be the timing with the news and the multiple time frames. It's going to make it extremely tricky today, in my opinion. When you have divergence across the market, when you have a market waiting for FOMC on Wednesday, when you have a rollover week, these are not easy conditions to trade in, right? These are super hard. Still in a kind of small range, 55-point range this morning since the opening bell. No extension of the range really, other than that last little squeeze up. Multi-time frame still bullish. Still no reason to pick the top right now. Waiting for this newsprint then. 1 minute left until we get the first newsprint, and then there's another newsprint at 10 o'clock. So far, I'd say pretty much holding the previous day high, which is a key level. Fail inside that range can cause a trigger of lower prices. Like we said, 800, the bigger higher time frame level that I'm sort of interested in, or there or thereabouts, you know, can drift a little bit lower than that to sort of 80s, but I want to see if and how we act there. If we come down there, we'll consider a short into that area if it starts to show me that it wants to move lower. Here goes ES then, breaking low of day, trading back towards its VWAP. SPY is already below its VWAP. This is a pivot area we're coming into now on the spiders. They can trade lower back down towards the VWAP on the ES and the 5-day. Right, very, very tricky areas here. You will have multiple time frame traders trading these areas right now. Here comes your newsprint. So very thin on the book. The book is completely cleared out. Only buyer I can see right now is at 865. No one else is on the book right now. Literally no one is on the book in the immediate price action. Starting to come back on the book now. So buyer down at 65, seller up towards the 90s. Now they're starting to provide a little bit of liquidity in and around the areas we're at. You can see very, very wicky and whippy this morning. All right, all these wicks up here, all these wicks down here, trading in a choppy range, which is why you can see I'm hands off, haven't taken a trade, just waiting. PMI came in at 55. Did anyone see that in chat? 55.60. So it did come in slightly hot. Let me have a look. Came in at 55.6 versus 55.1, pretty much in line. Oh, slightly hot there. 58.5. No big miss. So SPY trying to increase the range to the downside, NQ trying to trade upside. We're in a very tight range here. VIX is still pushing upside, all right? VIX is trying to test up towards that 1440 level, currently trading at 1426. If the VIX can get up there, there is chance for pressure on the market. NQ continues to try and hold its gains and trade upside. The complete opposite right now to the ES. Is one of those days where it's going to require a huge amount of patience and possibly not trading at all. All right, I want to be clear, I'm not in a trade. I'm not looking to action anything right now. This is not an area I'm interested in trading in right now. It is not a market that I'm looking at that's making me really want to pull the trigger on anything. It could be that we have a week like this until we get to FOMC. It is possible. I doubt it. I think we get bigger moves at some point. Again, London with that pump, New York with the extension higher on the NQ. Starting to struggle a little bit up here so far. Lack of follow through so far, above 50s. ES sitting at the low of its range again. All right, ES trading into V up. I'm starting to think about, do we start to fail here on the Qs if ES starts to break down? All right, do we do a move like this back down into this area? If not, everything so far is continuation. Remember, we're multi-time frame higher. But if we start to fail and show clear volume to the downside, I will trade it. And not all the time we're pushing higher. Still inside the opening range. So you're inside the opening 15-minute range, sat on top of the 5-minute range just about for opening range break. You would have been probably taken out of that as a 5-minute trader when it's 40, 35. Yeah, no, you wouldn't. So yeah, every opening range break trader, a 1-minute trader, 5-minute trader, 15-minute trader is still in this market. All right, we're still trading sideways in this market. Yes, trying to find some bids here. Still holding the flow zone, still looking good. Again, this looks like continuation, just not areas I really want to be buying in, but all the time we're flagging like this, possible continuation. Again, if I'm going to take that trade, I want to see strength across the sectors. If we look at the sectors right now, there's so many ads on FinViz this morning. So let's have a look. Tech mixed bag with Nvidia down. Consumers look good. Finance, there you go. Banking sector down. And healthcare, mixed bag again. Lily up, but everything else is red on the session. So there you go. Again, no sector rotation. Energy is red. Basics are red. Industrials are red. So basically, you've got Mag 7 holding the market up yet again and nothing else participating. So this is the worry across the market right now. There's no breadth whatsoever in the market. We're frothy at highs based on the Mag 7. I feel like that's been the same conversation for 12 months now. So just want to be a little bit cautious, trying to buy all-time highs if nothing else wants to help. ES tried to find a bid and failed yet again here. Starting to see some more selling come into this market. The question is, do we start to break down here? Still absorbing. Very tricky. Still some sellers above into 22,000, in front of 22,000. So 65, 90 and 22,000. ES not able, sorry, VIX not able to get through that 1440 yet. It's sitting at its previous day high right now, trying to base out. If it starts to squeeze through 1440, this market will roll. Otherwise, if it just sits here, we can drift higher. Definitely feels like rollover week, doesn't it? You can really feel it in the tape. Push, pull, push, pull, push, pull, push, pull. That is very typical of rollover as they start to move their contracts to the next forward-looking contract. Remember, it's triple witch with rollover, so it's options as well. Quarterlies, weeklies. Of course, you're going to have your 0 DTEs and, of course, the futures. All right, so continuation higher here, trying to expand the range on the NQ. Still watching the ES failing to do the same move. So remaining bullish. Higher time frame, it says higher until it proves otherwise, but not a great area to buy in. We are holding previous day highs, though, I would say, which is technically a bullish level, but less interest in buying the 900s. I might live to regret that on the market today. Rollover is this week. Yeah, rollover this week. Morning, Tyson. So new all-time highs printed again here on the Qs. Some sellers on the book all the way up to 21,990 and 22,000. So they're just trying to drag the market higher here. Can the ES get going? That's really the question here. Can the SPY and ES get going? If they can, then the market might have a nice bullish day. Catch you later, hot snap. Yeah, pre-market New York was nice. Nice and clean. Continuation after London, very, very clean. So 15 minutes traders now getting paid for that last drive up. ES again failing that same supply level in around 75, which trades, supply will trade from 75 all the way up to that 85 level. If it can get a breakout of 77, let's say, I would expect the ES to go and attack the top end of that range up towards 85, where that previous day high is. But it is struggling up here over and over and over again. Sellers are coming into the tape on the ES. Mag 7 looking strong, other than Nvidia and Microsoft. Looking pretty good here. Google the strongest on the day, 2.2% up. Doing a lot of the heavy lifting. So ES testing the level where it just found bids from them. So it's sort of not a full breakout, but sort of a retest of that downtrend break in towards 74s, 73s. If it fails that, if the bids fail to show up there, it will get rotation. You would expect bids to try and hold this range here. This is just very, very ugly across the board right now. VIX then, 1430. Can it get that 1440 break? It's trying. It is trying to start pushing here on the VIX, which is what I have concerns about on the market. So far, higher highs, higher lows on the NQ. Not necessarily the same on the ES here. Nothing to trade here. Just a grind upside. Slow grind upside so far. Nothing across the board matching up for me. Might just drift higher all day and I might not take a trade if that happens. And that's also okay. I'm very, very risk off coming into this week. Right, trading at all-time highs into a rollover week with FOMC probably baked in, with most of the market struggling outside of the Mag 7, is not something that's making me really want to buy the market right now. And momentum so far good on the session. Location not really so good. You could argue maybe that this previous day high was a decent location, right? Maybe this was good for a 1 hour or a little bit more, but like I said, I was waiting for those 800s to come in to this session. Yes, holding that level then that we talked about. Still no breakout to the upside though. So every flag continuation looking good here. We can move you to a low time frame, but I've got you on a 2 minute right now. But every single flag continuation paying, no reason to short this strong channel. You would need a clear failure under, which we're not getting. But flags paying so far. Every structure paying so far to the upside. You can't be picking the highs. But Magnet is probably up towards here right now, 22s. Yes, retesting supply yet again and finding a few sellers in there. Doesn't mean it can't break. All right, it's been here many, many times today. Maybe the ES is getting ready to explode now, back up to previous day high towards 85s. It looks like I am going to regret not buying that previous day high, but there we go. Happens sometimes. Remember, we've got news here at 10 o'clock, new 4-hour and hourly candle as well, as we start to surge higher. ES now finally getting through that, so starting to chomp through supply. So you would be looking now for ES to trade upside towards 85.50, 6,085.50. Right, that would be completion of the cup. Yeah, it's starting to add liquidity now. Definite rollover though. You can see it across both contracts now. These are the worst weeks to trade in my opinion, rollover weeks. Like them. They're the least easy to read because you have to read liquidity on 2 different contracts. You get people quoting 2 different prices. You're more likely to get a little bit of slippage. Hey, Redline, no trade for me yet. Just sat here waiting, watching it drift upside without me for now. Yes, trying to get going now then. Sort of 85 level will be key. Breakout of that, All right, and we have the chance to move higher into that old supply that we created on Wednesday last week. So everything remaining bullish here in the market. Multiple time frames says upside. Just didn't give me the dip I wanted this morning. Probably needed to trade London for that. Very close to that 22,000 psychological level now, which on the rollover would be 22,300. So 300 points higher on that rollover. Nice, Tyson. Good work. How much further we got for that top Bollinger? Let's have a look. Probably 22,060 odd is the top Bollinger for the daily. Doesn't mean it can't poke through it. So hourly candles just extending. Point of control on the day now back down towards 900. So that previous day high now point of control. Alex, am I able to use both Tradeify on Apex on NT8? Yes, yes, you can. You can use it. You just need to make sure you're not. Well, there isn't even Rhythmic for Tradeify, so yes, you definitely can. NT8 set up under Apex credentials and Rhythmic, so it doesn't matter if you're using Apex or why can't my brain work? Tradeivate for Apex. Either of them work, and Tradeavate's the only thing available for Tradeify, and you can use both of those with Copier or Ninja. No problem at all. So ES with a little fail there, but potentially holding its breakout retest area now, all right, of, let's call it 76 down to 75 will be key for the ES. We haven't tagged that 22,000 yet on the Qs. Everything extending its range, everything bullish for now. No massive failure coming in yet, no shift of momentum. Everything is just higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low, higher high, higher low. Can it come and tag this and extend the range, or does the market need a deeper pullback? These are the questions we're asking ourselves right now. So the 100 lot at that 22,000 is still there looking to get filled. And then it's not much above that, but again, I'm having to watch two contracts today. It's not ideal. When you're looking at level 2 data, you will be quoted only on the contract you're on. You have to remember that there are two contracts, right? We're in rollover week. So potential flag and continuation again. I can move this to a 1 minute chart for you guys, actually. And start to see it a bit cleaner now that we've got through some of the session. So back to flow zones. Everything's still bullish for now, right? No change of structure. Here's the low that created this high. This is your internal range. You expect buyers to come in here for continuation. If that starts to fail, that's when you get a rollover. Otherwise, 22K is the magnet above. Bear with me, team. I'm just going to grab my coffee. I haven't had my morning coffee yet. All right, there we go. Thanks for your patience. All right, 74 of you, 75 of you currently watching, please hit that like button. Let's help grow this stream. No trades for me yet, but like some of you, if you've been sticking to the rules, should have been long in this if you're playing the continuation. I'm being very, very fussy today. Very, very fussy. But the hold of previous day high here and these flags have been playing. The question is, can we get to 22 now? That's what the market's looking for. It's got liquidity on the book up at 22,000. ES will need to hold its gains up here at around 76. If it fails to do that, it's a problem, but it should be looking to hold its gains and attack previous day high here on ES. Relative weakness in the ES. VIX couldn't get through that 1440 level, right? Trading back inside. So maybe we have more upside momentum on the market. Chris, yeah, this is all my flow zone indicators. This is one indicator that comes when you do the course, right? So this is what I teach, how I teach to trade, how I keep people safe. So if you do the course, you get the indicator for free, any updates on that indicator, and you also get access to my Discord room as well, completely for free. So the course, the links are down below. It is a one-time fee, no subscription or monthly membership or anything like that. One-time fee, $499. Otherwise, I'm here every single day, Monday to Friday, from just before market open. Okay, so ES failing in that range, that supply block again, from 75s all the way up to 85s. It is struggling to really chomp through it. Like we said, we expect higher prices here. The problem is there's major divergence on the market, which is why I've been much, much more risk off today. We had the divergence start to build the last couple of weeks, but really it started to show itself majorly on Friday and today when we're making all-time highs and ES is failing pivots. So some selling pressure coming into the market here. Question is this going to be a bear trap to use the liquidity to go higher? Because the pivot is here, or do we get a proper rollover? All right, just remember that. This is the low that created this high. Anything down here can be a bear trap if we pivot in for an inverse head and shoulders look. Just be cautious about that kind of operation. Because the higher time frame is bullish, all right? Your hourly has been bullish, your daily is bullish, your weekly is bullish, your yearly is bullish. Everything is bullish right now on the Qs, including your 1 minute chart. I expect upside prices until I see otherwise. So the spiders back down to VWAP. So SPY down to its New York session VWAP. overnight VWAP would take you down pretty much to session low, 6,060. QQQ looking very strong. So here's your trade inside on ES. So this is the start of the divergence starting to play out yet again. It is very tempting to take a short here. But I'm not going to. I'm going to avoid that temptation. If we start to print lower, that's a whole different ballgame. ES trading back to point of origin here, mid of session. NQ unable to go and take that liquidity up at, oh man, my whole book's moving over now. 22,300, which is equivalent of 22,000 on the NQ. So still liquidity up there looking to get taken. Oh, I hate rollover. Anyone else hate rollover? I hate rollover week. I hate having to look at numerous books. Worst week to trade, honestly. You got to do double the work in your head all the time. And then we've got the joys of trying to make Ninja and TradingView match up as well, which is always fun. So you need to use that adjust button down the bottom, or just make sure you are on the right contract, right? So NQ1 will roll when it's ready. Otherwise, you will have to select the contract. Starting to show some weakness here then. Again, this can be a bear trap to move higher. Remember, this is where buyers came in the lower time frame. Right, so we're not technically weak until we're under here. Right, so they can use this as bear trap territory down here, like I keep talking about. Lots of liquidity down here. If it really wants to get weak, lots of liquidity down here. We could go and attack. I'd much rather see a drive upside and a fail on volume first. The ES definitely struggling in that supply zone overhead. Used to think I hated Monday, then I realized I hated my job. Trading taught me that I love Mondays. I absolutely love that comment, Exister. I love that comment. They had nothing worse than a 9-to-5 job on a Monday, was there? It's tough. But hey, at least you know you're learning a new skill, and anyone that's got a 9-to-5 job, at least you got a job. You know, remember that. Lots of people out there struggling right now. We've got to be thankful for what we have, thankful for the skills we earn and learn. So some weakness here. Again, this is coming into the key areas here. This H1 can rebalance all the way down to 900 if it wants. If this just flushes without giving an entry signal, is going to be really tough. Would not surprise me. But remember, higher time frame charts, we can rebalance all the way back down to here quite easily. We've had one straight push up, not much volume up here, and point of control is still down here at 900. We can flush down there if and when it's ready. What's going to make it hard is the timing of this. So back to the area where we found buyers. Remember, we found buyers in here for the squeeze up. They're starting to look a little bit shaky here. SPY under its VWAP. ES not at its VWAP yet. VIX not really getting going. I don't like anything I'm seeing here on the board today. It's a little bit tricky. Another 13 minutes or so until we get the initial balance. Range on the day still only 95 points. Not bad, but not great. Feels much smaller than that, doesn't it? Feels much smaller than that range-wise. So bear trap territory then. Be cautious. We start to reclaim this move to get the liquidity. If they start to build shorts in here and these shorts don't get a failure and we reclaim, that's when you get these squeeze type moves, because we haven't actually taken out the pivot down here. So lower highs, lower lows on a tiny time frame, but no pivot taken out, no change of character. Lends itself to a bear trap all the time they can hold it. ES looking weak again though. Very hard across the board here. Mag 7, most of them still green. Again, Nvidia 2.3% down, Microsoft about 1/3% down. Everything else on the session green. Apple trying to grind up towards that 250 area, right? That's key for Apple. That failed breakout it had on, I can't remember if it's Thursday or Friday, we did that failed breakout 250. We got above it and then gave the whole move back and some. Hey. Yes, coming back into its view up. SPY looking to test pre-market, or at least that 930 opening low. Yeah, I mean, it's tricky, isn't it, Foster Scott? They're just so different, the charts right now. To look for something clean, possible bear frag and breakdown here if we start to break structure, but ES coming into that very, very key area of VWAP. Right, so do buyers show up here? If they don't show up here, the market might start to roll. Again, the VIX not getting going at all, so it's making me not have a lot of trust in it, let's say. Yes, holding VWAP for now. Do we trade back upside and fail? Starting to let go of pivot. All right, so now I'm thinking if we trade upside and fail, it will be potential rollover type scenario. I don't like that NQ left that liquidity hanging just above. Also don't like that the 5 minute, maybe the 5 minute into 64 might not be too bad, but I don't really love what I'm seeing on the 5 and the 15. We might just trade back downside to point of control here without letting any entry in, which will be extremely frustrating and not surprising. Market starting to want to let go here. So ES trading back down towards its 5-day, SPY with a little bit more to go. The market's starting to let go here. I'm looking to see if there's a way I can join this trade. Cannot just chase it lower. It's, like I said, it could be a bit of a nightmare scenario today where they just let it all go very quickly. So we didn't take the pivot out till here, unfortunately. You could argue that there was a rollover here, but this is dangerous territory trading in this. But here was the first time we started to break down. So now looking to see if we start to give the move back. Again, the H1 rebalance will come back in towards 900 that we just talked about. We need a pump to dump here, really. We need a template of a pump to dump. ES coming back into, what is that, previous day close? Previous day open, previous day open. So ES trading back into previous day open, finding a bid there on the 5-day and the previous day open. So here is the pump. Again, I'm very cautious about any bear trap today down here, especially when I'm not seeing the VIX breakout upside. So a real lack of confidence for me today, I would say, is the best way of me describing it. How much longer we got left on a 5 minute? Plenty of time. Plenty of time. So ES trying to trade back up towards its VWAP. Oh, tricky, tricky, tricky. Midpoint of the session right now, midpoint of the imbalance. Imbalance still only 95 points on the range. Very concerned they're going to set a bear trap here. I'm going to be honest, underneath this pivot. Very, very concerned. Like I said, we didn't take out that 22,000. What I don't want to see is this. It's making me not want to pull the trigger, especially when the VIX cannot trade upside. VIX starting to trade downside. I'm not touching this. No way I'm touching this short anyway, put it that way. Absolutely no chance I'm touching this short right now. Back to VWAP here on ES. That seller at 22,000, or at least the seller on the book at 22,300 has pulled his order. Yeah, exactly, Coop. I don't even love the short up here like normally I would, but that reaction underneath that pivot where we know buyers came in today, shorts probably got trapped in this opening range. This is what we've done, and this is what I can sort of expect now. There we go. So I didn't like the look of the short here. The momentum upside said that shorts just probably got trapped down there. That might have been it then. Went a bit deeper than we thought for that bear trap into the deep pullback. So can it build liquidity here and use these stops for the leg higher? 322K, run the stops, and then we see what's what. That's what they'll be looking to do now, the bulls, all right? If they've got short-term or lower time frame shorts in, stops built here, all right? Short stops are built here and here and here, and they probably chased it down here once we got under that. Now they're stuck. That's why I said I wanted a pump to dump, but once I saw this with volume, plays off the books. We remained bullish. Look, we've even got a buy signal here now. Very, very, very tricky to read this action. It's not, I would say it is normal, but it's not normal action. Should I switch contracts when volume flips? Yeah, when volume flips over to one side, you can switch contracts then. So you know what they're looking for now? They're looking for that inverted head and shoulder type look. And if they get that and they run the high of day, then they might use all the liquidity to run over the stops for their drive into 22,000. That seller's just come back on the tape again. So look, he's looking to get filled up there now. So ES tagged, previous day open, 5-day, driven straight back upside. So again, it's still got that supply in 275. That's still an issue for it. I think if those of you who trade Ninja normally rolls you over automatically when it feels there's more size one side of the trade. Just be cautious, right? With this rollover, it's an end of year rollover. I would just be cautious with that. So ES back into that supply block again, all right? Higher time frame supply block yet again. Markets make it very hard. No inverted shoulder to play off here. You could argue you could play that break. We need it to build liquidity here for a run higher. tricky again because ES is struggling at that supply zone again. Oof. Yeah, I see that on the VIX, Coot. I see that trading into its gap now to the downside. 14's flat, basically. It's tricky, man. This is so typical of rollover week, and it's why I didn't like the short when we started failing, because VIX was not breaking out that 1440. Market looks like it wants upside here, not downside. But the question is, how low does it need to go first? It's ugly. It's like the best way. It's ugly price action. The best way of me putting it. Short's about to get cooked, it feels like, doesn't it? Short's about to get cooked. There we go. Short's getting cooked. So there we go. Built that liquidity out here. Didn't come deep enough. It's annoying as hell. Now going to run for that 22. Fun and games. Fun and games. So now you've got your initial balance set, I believe. Yeah, initial balance now set in the market as well. We did just sweep that liquidity at the high. ES still not made a higher high, remember. Still got divergence across the market. If you took that, well done. All right, well done if you took that. There was the trap, came lower than we thought. Built the liquidity, used these stops to run for that 22s. All right, so now you've got to respect initial balance plays. Momentum continues upside here. So you're looking at rotation, failed rotation versus an auction on the initial balance. That's what you've got to look at and consider. Did we just take 22? We just took 22. So the question is, was that the target? Are they done with it? Interestingly, there is liquidity on the other book for 22,300, which wasn't taken, right? Which wasn't taken. It's trading right at the IB high. Very hard with the orders split across the book, right? It's very hard. Normally I would say that 22,000, that was what the target was, but now they've got orders on the other book at 22,300, 22,305, which is probably the equivalent of like 22,010s, something like that. There we go. So we're starting to get going here for the IB play. So seeing if this flag long plays out here. starting to eat through that liquidity. They're adding more liquidity higher. They're trying to see if they can drag it again. ES, now ES starting to break out of its IB. Now it should really go and attack 85 if it's going to get a continuation on the day. So you're looking at auction theory now versus failed auctions. Everything above the initial balance, if we can push, then we have potential for an upside day. Remember, 60 was about the top of the Bollinger Band on the daily. So we are extending towards that top Bollinger Band. Not a whole lot of room left. I'm going to triple check that again. Yeah, 22,060-ish. In this long, looking for this flag continuation here above the initial balance. My stops are already in the money. They keep adding liquidity higher. I will keep holding on for this, but I know I'm extended in range, so I've got to be a little bit careful. Really want ES to go up to previous day high. ES looking like it wants to go now. Remember, 85s is previous day high on the ES. Nice, Steve. Good work. Don't want to see ES start failing. We're still in a supply block, but I don't want to see it start failing here. Want to see it get going, especially with the VIX trading down at 14s. If VIX starts snapping 14 now for a gap fill, we should really get moving higher, all right? Gap fill will be down to 1380s and below. So not much volume on this pullback, which is good. We want to see not much volume on a pullback and big volume for acceleration higher. Here goes the ES trying to make it go now. Wants to search for that 85. It's a couple points short right now. One eye on the ES. Come on, market, get going. Get going for the squeeze. Let's burn the shorts, please. Been adding into this trade. I need to make more than this. I don't need to, but I'd like to. I don't really want to just take sort of 20 or points. There we go. Nice, starting to squeeze. Beautiful, beautiful, beautiful. This is what we're looking for. Trimming some into that in case the flush is coming. Can always re-add in. $76 long. Yeah, very nice, Scott. We're looking good here. Just want to be cautious here. Remember, we're at all-time highs. Don't be buying high. Right, we bought this flag off the initial balance right here for the extension up. So we need to see them keep providing more liquidity higher. I've trimmed most of my position now. If we start to fail underneath IB high, then you need to be very, very aware of that failed auction. But so far we look good. All right, we can look good for a move up towards 50, 60 on the Bollinger Band. Anything after that is an absolute bonus, all right? Because from a 2 sigma or 2 standard deviation point of view, there will be nothing left to drive for. It would just be a straight squeeze. Remember, closing outside of that daily Bollinger is very, very unusual. We are multi-time frame bullish. If we start to roll under here, All right, then we can think about this move back down to point of origin. We can put a VWAP in, which is probably around, where would it be on the Qs? What's the last 5-minute bar? Yeah, somewhere around here, VWAP would be. For the New York session, that is. I can always anchor it in for you if we start to do that move. Yes, not quite yet at previous day high. I really expect it to go and take previous day high, honestly, but not going to fight it. Down to runners right now. All right, if it wants to come and fail the IB, then we're going to think about that failed auction theory. Be smart, guys. Remember, you've got to be smart here. Back to IB then. VIX still at 14. That 14 is the key level here on VIX. If it lets go of it, market can squeeze higher. Nice reaction off flow zones for now, an initial balance for now. Do we have one more pushing us? Previous day high, definitely looming here for ES. It's not far away. Remember, if it gets through that, how many sets of stops have we got up there? Quite a lot. One, I'd say Fridays, Thursdays. Yeah, Friday and Thursdays. So if we pop those stops, it can potentially run up to the action created on Wednesday if we can pop those stops. If we can't, trade back inside is always available. Yeah, nice, Scott. Good trade, though. It's a good trade from, what did you say you went on? 76, so you locked in some good profits there. On a 5-minute, it can reprice here on a 5-minute ES. Those last, what is it, 1025, 1030 bars? Clear pivot there on the ES and SPY though. On that previous day high, absolutely huge pivot. So trading back to the initial balance, right? Do we hold the initial balance? Do we build out some sort of more liquidity here in a bullish fashion? Or do we start to roll over? Momentum still upside for now, as in higher time frame momentum I'm talking about. Yes, holding that initial balance again. big divergence again here as NQ comes back to its IB. ES has already found a bid off that initial balance. So looking good here on that hold of IB again. Remember, potentially for a flag or some form of W for move upside for continuation. If we start failing under this, you got to be very, very cautious because this is thin up here and price discovery. This is where we have some structure underneath. Very tricky now. VIX finding a bid. Everything's still above the initial balance. All right, so in theory, we are in momentum longs upside until it proves otherwise, until we have a clear failed auction. Looking at like the 5-minute chart, everything very, very bullish still. All right, we've just done a 10-minute pullback. We're into in the next bar, and then if it expands upside here, we go and attack the top of the Bollinger. If it fails here, then we trade back inside the range created today. There you go. So it's trying to squeeze upside here like we talked about. Repricing into here. This would be key. Into 22.10, I'd say, is basically key. Fail or go. This right here needs to do this. Otherwise, it can be the first bear flag, and then we'll play continuation if that plays out. I'm not going to guess the top here on this, even though there's an imbalance here, just because we're above the initial balance high, and the draw is still higher on ES right now. Pretty whippy around here for now. Still think ES wants previous day high. That's definitely the clear draw for me, I would say right now. Apple not far away from that 250, only 60 cents away. Google having a monster day, 4% up, right? It's at $199 right now. Obviously 200 be the mark. Has it done that today? Let me have a look. No. Is this all-time highs? This is all-time highs. So obvious level for Google to trade into will be 200 psychological level. Probably a load of puts up there, I would say. So maybe this flag and W starting to play out for a continuation upside. Otherwise, you will have bear flag leg down underneath initial balance. It's very, very tricky here until we see clear liquidity or clear volume come in with a clear momentum shift. Still holding that initial balance for now. Does the bear flag come in here though, and do we start breaking down? Little sweep and soak there. Very small sweep and soak there. And they might have caught shorts there if they're going to try and send it higher. I'd love to see this do a giant fail. That would be really nice to give us some range to join. But I think that would be easier after ES takes out previous day high, which it doesn't seem very willing to do right now. Lots of games going on here. There's the bear flag starting to play out now. Very cautious of this holding due to structure. If we just think slightly higher time frame, or don't do that, slightly higher time frame. Jesus, can't draw today. All right, this is what we're looking at. All right, so this is really playing back into a pivot. So even this move here is very, very dangerous at the initial balance because ES wants to draw up here. Draw of liquidity is up here right now. I'd prefer this after ES takes it out, and then we can get that move back into range. This feels like a high risk short to me right now here, because this is the low that created this high, and this is your structural break. So I don't love this short, and we're in multi-time frame long with flow zone still supporting for now. If you're going to get that rotation of the initial balance, all right, if this is going to be a failed auction, it should be clear, right? It should be clear. It shouldn't be dithering around. And this little sweep here for me versus this low could be telling of the same stuff over and over again. Right, so I'd say if they protect 82s, that's key. Very tricky day. Very tricky day. We said it was going to be tricky on Discord this morning, even at the beginning of the session. I said I might regret not buying 900s. Definitely, definitely regret it. 5 minute looking very bullish. Hourly just been straight up. Starting to roll here a little bit, but just into structure, remember. This is the danger. It's the structure is the danger to play this short. So 22,015, that's where these stops are on this right now. Buyers down at 975, looking to get filled. Right, buyers down at 975. We're just pinned in right now between 975 and 15s. Do they flag this and go with this same move we did earlier, something like this? Are they looking to do the same thing around here? Or do they have a failed auction up high in a rotation without ES hitting its previous day high? I don't know. It's definitely possible, but it seems so odd that ES would not come and take out that previous day high because there's so many stops up there. There is so much liquidity for it to go and take out up there. A little boring session. All of those who are joining me for the first time, it's not normally this boring, but we're a little bit more cautious into rollover week with the divergence. So we've been 100% on this stream for a little while now, probably 2-3 weeks. Last week, 100% as well. Are they going to do that same trap we just talked about? This is the question. Again, I think ES wants to go for that previous day high. The question is, can it get there? Is there enough momentum across the sectors to let it up there? Constant reliance on tech is not healthy for the market. It doesn't bode well for Q1 2025, that's for sure. $81 of you currently watching. Thank you so much. Please make sure you hit that like and subscribe button here Monday to Friday from pre-market all the way into lunch. So ES still above its IBH. Structure from a 5-minute point of view and above is still bullish, right? Everything from a 5-minute and above is still bullish right now. Still has the potential to move higher with this same move we talked about earlier. This move here, same kind of move. This is how the market likes to build liquidity at all-time highs and use the liquidity to run higher. It's exactly what it likes to do. Can I encourage shorts to get in here and then go and take them? Right, I need to see clear moves down with volume to tell me we are exhausted. And really, I'd want to do that after ES takes out previous day high. Until then, I feel like the draw can be higher. I know we have a slight imbalance up here, but it's not something I love above the initial balance high when the draw's higher. Hopefully that makes sense to everybody. ES is basing, it is putting in a 5-minute flag above its initial balance high, above structure to go and attack previous day high. That is bullish, all right? It is bullish. The drive is higher right now. It wants to move higher if possible. Failure will become clear. You cannot be picking tops. Structure is bullish like we talked about. Here's your wave. 1, 2, this is a pullback into structure. We are holding for now. All right, RBS, very simple. RBS, what is this? Resistance becomes support. Here is your move that we just talked about, and it's trying to play out. If it fails, it will become clear and obvious, right? Volume will come in, we'll get a kill candle, we'll get something we can risk off. Until then, I think we go upside. Volume really starting to leave this market at the moment. It's got me very unenthused. All day, very unenthused. So do they build this inverse head and shoulder now and sort of flip this imbalance right here and start to drive higher, right? Do they do this versus this for this move? If they fail this, then we know there's a lot of buyers stuck up here at that point, and then we can think about the short rotation back down. There's just not much liquidity on the book right now. I know it's spread between the two contracts, but there's not a whole lot going on. Yes, back to initial balance again, maybe with its first failed breakout. It's got a minute left on this 5-minute bar. How does this bar close? That's going to be key here. Still holding range here at the initial balance high. VIX trying to trade upside. VIX back to 1420s, right? VIX still able to do a breakout, but the breakout will have to be above 1440. New 5-minute bar coming here. So this is going to be key. Opening drive on it. ES is still available for an M5 flag breakout to the upside towards that previous day high. It's still there for the taking if it wants to go for it. This is still building that liquidity we talked about. It's still available. If ES gets going, left shoulder, head, right shoulder is still available. More of a quasi type move, but it's there. It's there for the taking. This is what we're talking about. Drifting higher for ES to get to previous day high. Looking good now. Remember, no shorts until it proves otherwise. Can keep saying it all morning. It will become clear and obvious. If it's a short, we will start selling vigorously. If you're in long in this, be sensible. Okay, move that stop up in the money. I would be aggressive with stops up here because you're buying high. You need ES to get going. So here is the liquidity at 15, remember. Remember I said there's liquidity on the book at 15. So 115 here, and then above, I'm saying 115, that's how many orders are there on the book looking to get filled. And then I think we can trade back through it to the upside and trigger that squeeze. The M5 on the ES still looking good for that breakout. All right, so there's the sweep of that. Can they get continuation higher now? Range has been poor in this session. All right, we're trading at what, like 120 point range on the session so far. ES failed to get back above again. NQ did sweep those. Remember I said be aggressive with your stops here. Yeah, VIX is being very tricky, Ryan, and the reason the whole market's being tricky is due to rollover week. Like I said, this is my least favorite week to trade of the year. Rollover week into end of year is my least favorite week to trade of the whole year. New hourly candle here as well. Point of control has now shifted upside. So point of control now at 989. So most of the volume now traded at 989 on this session. Still bullish in structure. No, we've got a wick there, but this is still bullish in structure until it proves otherwise. There you go. So being absorbed for more upside. Just gonna put a jumper on. It's getting cold in here today. All right, so continuation higher looks good. Looks good to me. W shape, bull flag, whatever you want to call it, inverted head and shoulder, or hoodie. You don't call it a jumper? What do you guys call it in America? Sweater, pullover, hoodie, jumper. All right, so 2020, 25 on the book. Remember I said the top of the Bollinger Band is at 60, all right? So it has potential to drive up towards 60 if it wants to. Jumper is specifically British. Oh, there we go. So here's the squeeze, and like I said, you had to stay bullish until it proves otherwise. I'm sure there's channels trying to tell you to pick tops right now, but there was no clear breakdown. Remember, the structure was very, very clear. You got to zoom out. Here is the structure. All right, we traded back in, created a flag, breakout. Like I said, the draw for ES is still that previous day high. I don't know what the draw really is on the NQ because we are in price discovery, but what I do know is if we go to the daily, we are starting to come up towards this top Bollinger Band. Remember, around 60 is the top. It can keep going if it wants, right? There are times like here when we break through it and trade back inside, but right now, you know, we've extended it a bit, 75 maybe now. Right, so we are in price discovery. Yeah, 70s, somewhere around that for top bowl. But we're coming into areas where we're at 2 sigma or 2 standard deviation on the daily. So I don't like buying up here when we're near the top Bollinger. Doesn't mean it can't squeeze higher, it definitely can. It doesn't mean it's a short, it just means I don't like the buy once we're up at the top Bollinger because I know statistically speaking, it's very, very hard to keep going much higher. Doesn't mean it can't. It means it's very hard for it to do it. There is a big difference, right? People get confused because they think if it's not a buy, it means it's a short. It's not how it works at all because we can just go sideways for a session or two, trap more volume in, and then go up again, right? Because if we pause for a session or two, the Bollinger will keep going upside, gives it room to trade upside. We are definitely lacking liquidity on the book today, right? And that's because of rollover. I'm sure there are lots of traders who have been adding into this short all session, getting themselves stuck. It's the most common, obvious, easy thing to do. It's what I see lots of people doing, but we are trading upside. Like, look at your 5-minute chart. Is there a reason to short this? Think about the structure. I can't see a short there. I could see a short if we do this, but not until that. Very, very important to understand the structure. And also we are holding the flow zones on every single time frame, right? M1, M2, M3, M4, M5, M15, hourly, everything's holding upside. We are in multi-time frame bullish direction. Yes, still wants to go for previous day highs. Yeah, exactly, RT. Still got the juice. Still got the juice, I agree. Yeah, I mean, we can do even from this, if we're going to consider this the flag. 161 would be into 48. Remember, the this move here would be into the top of the second standard deviation on the Bollingers. All right, so this is why maybe the buy here was good and maybe I should have got involved for a move to here, but I don't like buys here or above. Statistically speaking, doesn't mean it can't go above. I just, for my rules, I don't like buys here or above. But we can still drift higher. Absolutely, the market can drift higher. Again, if ES gets going, right, if ES breaks out of that previous day high, it should run a lot of stops over. So previous day high and then 88. Trade through 88, we should trade up into the block of 95 to 99. Trade through 99 and 102, we trade up to 111. That's all-time highs. ES can trade all-time highs today if it wants to get going, especially if everything starts to break out. All right, if sectors get rotation and we get ads that are nice and broad rather than relying on 6 stocks today, we can go over. Why haven't I rolled over? There's not more volume on that contract for me yet. I might roll over tomorrow or the day after. I'll have a look, but for me, it's not time to roll over yet. Maybe tomorrow, maybe Wednesday. Market drifting higher here. ES wants to go for previous day high like we keep talking about. Structure is bullish. Yeah, RT, probably good chance tomorrow. I always feel like normally I roll over on a Tuesday or Wednesday. I definitely don't want to be on this contract and messing around with my charts on Wednesday morning. I'd rather roll over and like redraw my stuff tomorrow because we've got FOMC on Wednesday. So the last thing I want to do is not have a level on my chart that's important coming into FOMC. But we remain bullish. Lots of you in chat should be up very nice money today, right? We remain bullish. We stick with the momentum. That's very, very clear. We are bullish. We are bullish. We are bullish. We are bullish across every time frame. M5 bullish, hourly bullish. The daily, you know, was bullish. We talked about it. The lower time frame has been bullish. We are above our initial balance. All dips held, right? This trap here today was lovely, held for breakout. Bullish flag breakout. Now the question is, does it hold this level here or does it start to dive? Any time I'm going to get bearish is when we very, very clearly don't want to hold key levels. Until that point, I'm either looking for bullish setups or I'm not in a trade. Don't go picking tops. It's the easiest way to get smoked. VIX trading back up to previous day high. ES still has not taken out that previous day high. This is just a pullback. Remember, this is a pullback. Here's your flag. This is a pullback into it. We would expect this to hold. If it doesn't hold, then we can think about a rotation. Expect it to hold and be absorbed if we're going to continue upside. Structure-wise is just this is what we expect until it proves otherwise. Get out of the habit of predicting, right? We can create thesis, but trade what's in front of you, not what you hope is going to happen. Yeah, ES is being a tease, isn't it? I mean, it's putting in a nice curl on a 5-minute chart. If you look at 5-minute chart and flow zones and the IB and structure, it is doing that nice looking curl. It's just failing to expand higher, isn't it? But it should come. It should really come. If it leaves 3 sets of stops up there, then later in the week, those are going to get destroyed. Might need another coffee soon. I'm struggling today. I also find it hard when it's a Monday morning and you know, like, it's my last week's trading. I've almost like already left in my head. You know what I mean? I'm in Christmas mode. I'm already thinking, What can I go and eat and drink? And what friends can I see? And who can I buy presents for? And all these things. There will definitely be traders out there guessing tops right now. Please don't be one of them. Please do not be one of those traders guessing tops, because if they get it, they're lucky. All you're going to do is teach yourself bad habits, because if it pays you, you're going to reinforce the notion of guessing a top. If it doesn't pay you, you're going to learn your lesson. Most of the liquidity is downside for the buys right now. 21,990, which is back to initial balance. I can't see much higher, but again, they keep splitting everything across the two contracts. ES back to its IB again. So no breakout there on the ES, which is not a good look, I will say. VIX trading back upside again. So if this is going to be a kill candle, it will make itself known. ES can still do like a W shape on a 5-minute. Right? It might be sellers try once, sellers try twice, build in enough stops, and then use all of those if it's going to go upside. Easy trading today? Not really, right? Not really. Longs are paying. You've had to be pretty accurate and willing to buy high today. You've had to be willing to buy high on pullbacks. Pullbacks have not been huge. Range has been small. If you think about this pivot high to here, maybe your entries were around here. This is a pretty small pullback, right? You're talking about 20 points, maybe making 20 points. Range is kind of tight, 130 points-ish on the New York session. Remember, we gapped up. London pushed outside of Asia's range to all-time highs. We continued that in the New York session. We are near the top Bollinger. We are near second Sigma. Hey, Tyson, I love it. Just think about that conversation we had on Discord not too long ago. Look how far you've come in a very, very short period of time. Well done, buddy. Well done. So failing inside initial balance here on ES. Very careful if they trap here underneath that last pivot low on the M5. Still plenty of time left on this candle. Yeah, good, Ryan. That's good risk management. Really good risk management. Second Sigma, basically second standard deviation. That's what your Bollinger Bands are, Glenn. So they're always 2 standard deviation away from a 20 SMA. So for me on the daily, the 20 daily SMA, that is your mean. And then the Bollinger Bands on the daily, they are 2 sigmas away from that, 2 standard deviations away. So still bullish, still holding. It is a massive victory, Tyson, because it's not about the profits, it's about how you got there. Big victory in how you got there. And we slowly scale that next year with you. Get your process dialed in. Now you've got your risk nailed. Very different charts again on ES. VIX is looking to break out, all right? VIX is trading up to that 1440s. VIX feels like it wants to put in a squeeze here, all right? If it does break out, it can trade right upside and ES might let go. So it is not an easy trade here right now in the markets, all right? Timing this is going to be hard. The market might let go here if VIX is going to do a breakout move. No, Glenn, I took that off. Sorry, mate. Probably didn't say that. I was long this morning. Made some money. If you were talking to me. Catch you later. All right, so lots of push and pull here. You can see the fight on liquidity. You can see this push pull as VIX attempts to break through 1430s, 1440, 1450 for that trade upside into 15s. ES coming underneath its last 5-minute wick, but it's still holding 5-minute flow zones for now and rebalancing. So here's the clear out of the upside. So like I said, timing this is going to be very, very hard. Good, Coop. Yeah, good work. Nice and green. Close it down. We come back tomorrow. Remember, like we said, Monday, all it's doing is helping us create range. Here's your expansion then. So it looks like it trapped here. Again, structure was still bullish. We were not thinking bearish until under here. Structure is still bullish. Here's your flag and extension. Continuation higher. ES is a different ball game right now. VIX still can't break out. It's testing it. ES still can't break out. It's testing it. It's not a good look across the board. Very typical of rollover week. ES still got that previous day high to go and take, right? It can still do a W formation if it wants. It will need VIX to fail here, though. Still liquidity higher. If it wants to search for it, they're still adding liquidity higher. Remember, ES, still my draw on ES is previous day high. And through that, it can squeeze. So don't light any shorts until we break down. Is there any reason to short this? Keep asking yourself, here's your M5. What is the structure? We are in bullish. We're in a squeeze. Why are you picking tops? Get out of that habit. We are multi-time frame long. We are above the initial balance. We are in the flow zones. Here's your pullback buy signal. There would have been a buy signal earlier in the day. There's your buy signal. There's your pullback buy signal on the trap. We continue to go upside. Okay, if you're trading anything other than upside, you are the wrong side of this trade. We are not backside on any move on any time frame right now. So even if you haven't taken a trade, if you're normally short in this and you haven't taken a trade, then you're doing the right thing. Right? If you're not guessing tops today, you're doing the right thing. Get your process right. It will help you long term. Too many people are learning bad habits. It's very easy to add on the way up in a short position and you will blow up. You get out of that habit, life becomes easier. Big volume exchanged on that last push out. Look at these 3 drives. Good volume. So pivot now is to 2220s. 2220 holds. Lower time frame, we continue upside. You can hear my stomach rumbling. I am hungry. ES back to its initial balance again, right? So the lack of follow through on the ES is starting to become very, very, very clear today. We talked about it pretty much every day, I feel like, for the last week or two. The divergence across the market. Watching this 5-minute bar. How long we got left? Another minute on this 5-minute bar. Lots of time left for it to do something. Yeah, VIX it's starting to break out. It needs to get through 41, but yeah, the flag looking good on like an M10 on VIX. But again, ES not responding to it. Okay, very typical of rollover. Very typical rollover. We're still holding the initial balance high. It's still got that previous day high draw above it. We're still bullish in structure, but there are some signs in this market that we are frothy for sure. New high on NQ again, new all-time high on NQ. So NQ not respecting anything. Apple coming up to that 250 mark we talked about, all right? Google as well, not far away from the 200 mark. Tech doing the heavy lift. We're relying on tech again. Very, very messy across the board. Frothy, yeah, frothy, like the top of the foam before, you know, you get a big move down, basically. Like, we're very thin up here. There's not much reason to be up these highs, is what I'm saying, in this market. That doesn't mean it's a short. You just have to think, like, do I want to be buying all-time highs when we're up here based on 6 stocks? Literally, that's it. Treasuries have gone red to green on the session. Dixie pretty much flat on the session, trading almost 107. Bitcoin all-time highs. Gold holding gains pretty well. I mean, not a usual market. This Q4 this year, not a usual market. Every market up, something's got to give back. Doesn't mean it's the Nasdaq and the ES, but something at some point has to give back. When the Qs lead and small caps lag, it usually means we might see breadth increase later and go up. Or tech fails first. What do I think? Yeah, I think you're spot on in your analysis there. And I think at Q1, some point Q1 next year, I think we see a major fail on tech. That's my gut feeling, is that's what we get. Major fail on tech. When I say fail, really what I mean is a sizable pullback. That's probably a better way of putting it, Chris. A sizable pullback on tech for me in Q1 2025 looks like a very probable scenario. Everything's still holding, all dips holding. I would say this level here is starting to become a little bit more key. Remember, this is a pullback we broke out from. If we hold this, we continue higher. If we don't hold this, right, this is like your failure back to IB. And if we fail that, we can think about VWAP. Yes, failing again up here to get to previous day high. It doesn't mean it can't still get there. It's just what's happening right now. Very ugly up here. ES basically been sideways since, what was that breakout? 10:30. So we've been an hour up here in ES, and how many points have we done? Five point range or so for about an hour on ES. That's doesn't sound very good. It doesn't sound very good, but it's building liquidity for the next move, up or down. Structure still remains bullish for now. They're adding liquidity on the book higher on the Qs. They're trying to use it as a magnet to drag it up. Yeah, very much so, Glenn. Yeah, very typical rollover, like we keep talking about. Push, pull, push, pull, push, pull, push, pull, because you've got funds rolling their contracts over, so they need to get the prices that they want, fill those contracts and move over to the new contracts, and they probably want to do most of it soon. right? Unless they're going to use liquidity on Wednesday for FOMC to really get good prices, or maybe they don't roll, maybe they exit. We got like a blow off top or something on Wednesday, maybe we get a mass exit from the market. I don't know. I'm just thinking ahead. Yes, back to IB again. How many times am I going to say that today? So I'd say this level here is kind of key. This kind of area, let's just call it this area here where we broke out from. If we start to get stuck under here, that's when I'll think about something downside or a trap. So far, we're still in strong continuation higher. Another 30 minutes to lunch till still can't talk today until lunch. Apple getting very close now, only 20 cents away from that 250 break. Tesla now up 5% on the day, trading at 458. That was at 330 only a few sessions ago. What an insane squeeze move on Tesla. Yeah, that's the right, Exister. Don't worry about it. There are easier trade days ahead. Just remember that. Not every day is going to be your easy, low-hanging fruit setup. Right, watching this if we're going to fail down here now, okay? If we're going to give it that deep fail, I'm thinking about it. ES starting to roll. VIX starting to break. VIX now starting to break. Coming to key levels here. Expect some form of bounce. If they just flush this, we're going to move lower. VIX being key here, right at the level, 1440 right now. Needs to break out of that and trade upside for weakness in the market. ES starting to let go and rebalance lower prices. Remember, this is the key level, this white line we put in. This is where all the stops are. What you don't want to see is a sweep of the stops and trade back upside if you're thinking about looking for the short. You need to see this stay heavy. There we go. Sweep now. How do we react now that we've done that? Can VIX get going? This is the question. Can VIX get going now? I'm going to put an anchor in just in case we do that IB trade today. All right, bear with me. Sorry, guys. There's my 930 candle here. Okay, so you would need to see this reject this level up here again. Otherwise, we can still trade higher. There's still no short here yet. Might be setting up for a short, but there's no short here yet. This might be the first little scalp. But no confirmed trend. So if you're taking this short, you have to be aggressive versus this imbalance. If you're thinking about taking this and you're premeditating this, you have to be very careful on how it acts down here. If it soaks and turns back upside, you can't be thinking add. You are early in this. Look at your M5, right? You're still very, very early in this if you are looking to fade this. M5 is still saying higher. All right, it is still saying higher for now. If we're going to pivot, it will pivot M1 first, then M2, then M3, and M4, etc., etc., etc. ES back to IB. How does it act here? It's faded under, it's repriced its M5, it's holding price action, it's gone back to IB. So ES might do that inverse head and shoulders look. If it's built enough shorts in above the initial balance and it starts to squeeze, it can do that look. Big if, and it requires VIX to break out for it to fade. If VIX fails here, it can do that inverse head and shoulders look on the ES. I know there's a lot of information to take on there. Here, back to key level here, the 20s that we talked about. 220 felt key. Again, versus these. Right. Sweep or fail, bear flag or trap and go. Remember, you don't need to be first to the party. You need to join the trend when it shows you that it's clear and ready. VIX at 1440 now, needs to get going for pressure in the market. Feels like a flush is coming here, watching the VIX. Very tricky. Come on, VIX, get going. Still trading 42s. No volume coming in and pushing that VIX high. Now starting to reject. Feels like they want a flush in the market, but it's just a lack of follow through in this session. Hands off right now. Still trading to deep pullback and holding momentum. "25 minutes till lunch till you get a new hourly candle." Bit of a boring session. It's not been too bad, but it's been tricky. Yes, failing the IB high there. I need really a higher time frame shift here to think about anything. M5 still looks good. Right, so we've traded back to the flow zones on the M5. We have left an imbalance above, so versus 30, it will need to stay heavy versus 30, otherwise that inverse head and shoulder for a drive higher with a bear trap is possible with that liquidity sweep under 220. Again, what was the high? We traded into 50s, almost 50s. We said, don't like buying up there near the top of the daily Bollinger Band. Remember, we talked about this, the top of the daily Bollinger Band, right? We traded right in towards it. I don't like buying up here. It's very dangerous. You buy up here, you get that the next day. You buy up here, you get that the next day, right? When we're buying too high, it's problematic. Understand where you are on the higher time frames. Shorted MES at 81.50, stop at break even. What should I target? Well, if you're going to stay heavy versus VWAP, you want to target as versus IBH, you want to target VWAP. So a reprice into sort of 73, 74s. But from a structural point of view, it can still hold on here. So like be aggressive with your stops, right? Remember, any short today is counter trend unless they truly start letting this go. VIX holding its gains so far, but no big push upside through that pivot. I want to see it break 45 aggressively, and then I'll feel better about a potential downside move on the market. So far, not doing that at all. Oh, that's all right. Yeah, one single contract MES, you're fine. Just don't do an add, okay? Because from an M5 structure on ES, you're still bullish. Very similar to this. From an M5, you're still holding. The M5 pivot, it's going to sound stupid, is down at 65, right? That's the low that created the high at 83 on an M5. So all you've done now is trade back inside that range. So you're creating a flag on a fib. You're creating a flag down to the 38 fib, all right? Down to whatever that low pivot was you just put in, 77. All the time it's holding that, it can do a flag or a W for an upside move towards previous day high. You need continuation lower. You want to see a clear breaker structure with some volume starting to step in. Apex will lower 125 to 85 tomorrow night. I don't know, Tasmia. Not that I know of. I haven't had an email to say that, but potentially. Looks like they're going to trap. They're trying to do that trap move. Again, this is the same move. Sweep under liquidity, turn because we're overall bullish, flag, upside. You need to see failures in here for downside. Remember, down here would be target 1, and all we're doing is sweeping. And remember, the M5, this is the pivot that made this high. So on an M5, structure is this. Okay, so we expect higher until we get under here. 220 was key, how we act there. Kept saying, do we sweep or do we stay heavy versus it? So far, we swept. Doesn't mean we can't continue, but down here, I'm more interested. Also running out of time in the day now, 20 minutes left. ES staying heavy against that initial balance for now. This is not low-hanging fruit trading today. Yeah, 1 minute on the screen here. This is a 1 minute chart. Yeah, just focus on the 5 minute more, Miguel. We use a 1 minute for entries and exits. Focus on a higher time frame. Like we said today, so far, we're bullish, right? I would have loved a pullback into and around this area. That's what I was hoping for. So now I kind of need to wait, right? Maybe now we get a pullback at some point into here later in the week that I can think about trading. But the H1 is bullish, the M5, just make it really simple, right? Boom, 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 boom. This is what we're doing. We're bullish. If you struggle, go to a line chart. Let's move you down to mainstream. Go to a line chart. All right. We've been bullish all morning. No reason to try and short that. No reason at all. I always tell newer traders, if you're struggling to see the structure, just put a line chart on your screen. Even if it's a side monitor or something, a line chart on like an M5 or something like that, it will just help you. It will really help you. Or you can use a EMA, a 1 minute EMA or 1 minute or whatever time frame you're on, one SMA or one EMA, and do it nice and thick on your chart, and it will draw the structure for you. Did Apple take that and missed 2C? Apple's still building for that 250 drive, right? 250 is its initial balance high on the session. Break of that, and we get that breakout on Apple. We are just doing a dance in the market here. Big old dance. Starting to yank it a little bit. Volume starting to come in here. So maybe we start to see a shift of momentum on this hourly candle for the last 10, 15 minutes, starting to leave a little doji at the high. We're trading back into and around point of control. Just a real lack of follow through today in neither direction, really. It might come though, it might come. There we go, trading back down now towards point of control. Point of control basically at that 21K. Is that right? 22K, sorry. My data's fine. Just make sure you're viewing me live, Glenn. Make sure you're viewing me live and make sure you've got the right time on TradingView. If not, you'll need to add your data. You need to buy data or log in using your broker so it can read data from your broker. So back to key areas then, like we said. So starting to fail here, how we act here is going to be key because we have built significant liquidity here on the session. I do not like that ES didn't go and take that previous day high, but it is what it is. So we trade back to point of control here on an hourly chart. You've got 15 minutes left, new 15-minute candle coming. Does it expand lower now? Who knows? But we're trading back into the initial balance. This is where we found buyers before this move up. So you will need these buyers to become sellers for a deeper move down. M5 structure, it's still bullish for now. Well, the other contract, Glenn, I don't know what you're looking at. The other contract's trading at 22,312 currently. So I don't think it's a different contract. I'm still on December, yeah. The other contract's trading 300 points higher. Considerably higher. SPY not too far from its VWAP, right? It's cash VWAP on the SPY for the New York session. Yes, considerably far away. If it's going to do that rotation of IB to that. Remember, Apple is still building for that 250 breakout on Apple. Still building for it. Glenn, I don't know what to tell you, mate. Like, this is live data that you're looking at. This is the same as my Ninja. Apple getting very, very close now. Just 7 cents away for Apple to do that breakout, which it's attempting to do. If you're getting the same prices, then your data's fine, mate. It would just be that you're delayed against me on stream or something. As long as you're getting the same prices on your broker as you are on TradingView, then you're fine. Building this. Remember, this is where the buyers came in. Do they return higher? That's what they're attempting to do. ES back to IB high again. I'm losing the will to watch this right now. It's becoming less and less interesting. But we are holding the M5, right? M5 is still bullish. Price action on the M5 is still very, very bullish. So there goes Apple through 250 now. ES reclaiming its IB high. Very, very messy here. So messy. Still bullish structure on the M5. Maybe they search for higher again. All right, almost lunch. Again, divergence continues in the market. VIX traded back inside, so failed to break out and hold gains above 1440s for now, trading back inside the range. ES still has a target of previous day high if it wants to go for it, but it's still inside an old supply block. Relative strength on the Qs. All right, relative strength on the Qs today, as we've seen for the last few weeks. Catch you later, Ryan. Yeah, I'm about to get off as well, mate. There's nothing to do here as we trade into those Bollingers. All right, so we have to see Apple starting to trade back inside 250. All right, so if that was a clear out like it did last week, we have to see what it does. Yes, back to IB again. Right, so it just can't get continuation above and isn't really pulling back towards VWAP either. So we're just sort of going to build liquidity over and over and over and over again. The M5 structure is still bullish for now, and it's still bullish for now on the M5. Well, we'll see what we get. We'll see where we close today. Hopefully we can close relatively high on the daily candle and offer up something good for Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday in terms of weekly model. We can close high towards top Bollinger, maybe have a push out tomorrow, and then we see what we get Wednesday with FOMC, but we'll have good range to do that. If we close mid session or we trade back down tomorrow, we'll have to revisit and think what their weekly model is going to be. Yeah, that's fine, Ryan. I mean, I think break even on a day like today is not a bad thing. I assure you there will be a ton of people who are not break even, so well done. I'm going to be back same time tomorrow. Everyone new on stream, appreciate you showing up. I'm here from 9:20 in the mornings. We do top-down analysis, say what we're looking at, and we go from there. And until then, please trade safe, use hard stops, all the usual stuff. Don't overtrade today in this sideways as we go sideways in this channel. Just be very, very cautious. Remember, tech's doing all the heavy lift right now. We're a little bit frothy. Bonds are up. Dixie's pretty much flat. VIX tried to break out, trying to hold its games. Easier place to come later in the week. All right, peace and love, and I'll be back tomorrow. Everyone in Discord, I will see you there. Peace out.